Humans have just joined the great galactic community. They seem small and strange, bringing coffee and jazz music, and their ways of fighting confuse everyone. But when a terrible attack kills 40,000 humans, Earth's new allies choose to respond with strength unlike anything the galaxy has seen before. Commander Maggie Sudo and her crew on the secret Black Star ships begin a war that will change the galaxy forever. This story is full of tension, courage, and tough choices. It shows how humans fight with fierce determination and surprising creativity, breaking the rules to protect their own. The galaxy will never be the same, and everyone starts to fear what humans might do next. The stakes are life, death, and the future of many worlds. Commander Maggie Sudo stood alone on the bridge of the Black Star ship, Bloodhim. The ship was old, pulled from mothballs, a secret project hidden deep in Earth's military history. It looked small compared to other galactic cruisers, but it held a terrible power inside. Maggie's eyes flicked over the tactical displays. Every blinking light told a story of danger and death waiting in space. The crew was unusual. They were not chosen for medals or rank but for something else: their minds, their courage, their ability to break the rules. Maggie herself was not tall, only 5'6", but when she stood in the room, it felt like the laws of gravity themselves paused to listen. "Mother," she said, speaking to the ship's AI. The voice that answered was warm, like a friend who understood more than just orders. Target acquired. Bone Harvest Cruiser. Crew 847. Tactical value moderate. Emotional satisfaction, immeasurable, Mother said with a hint of something like amusement. Maggie smiled briefly. She had heard that voice joke before, but this was not a time for laughter. From the pilot station, Ty Mercer called out. His fingers moved quickly over glowing holograms. "Commander, 7 enemy ships are coming in 12 minutes. They want to play. Shall I invite them to wait their turn?" Maggie nodded. "Make sure we're ready." "Rafe, how's the new weapon system?" The large mechanic, Rafe Onari, gave a grunt from his station. He was built like a mountain, 6'8", with scars that told stories of many fights. "Your weapon modifications?" "That's it crazy. Illegal. But damn effective." Maggie almost smiled. "Almost. Standard protocols assume the enemy is sane. The Crest Syndicate isn't. They glassed a colony, killed 40,000 civilians for fun. Rational responses don't work. They lost that right." The Black Star ships moved in space like a single creature, flowing around their enemy with impossible speed. Ty's hands danced over controls as he told Mother, "Ignore Newton's third law for 30 seconds. Mother replied, "Which part?" "Equal and opposite reaction?" Ty laughed nervously. "Yes. The fun part." The Bloodhim darted through space, weaving through enemy fire that seemed certain to hit. Maggie's heart raced, but her voice stayed calm. "Rafe, full power on forward batteries. Let's end this." Rafe's grin was sharp. Breaking 3 laws of physics. Again. The human-made weapons tore through the enemy ship. The Bone Harvest exploded in silent fury, a cloud of fire and metal drifting in the cold dark. Enemy reinforcements arrived, but the Black Star ships vanished like ghosts. They reappeared behind the attackers, forcing 6 to surrender instantly. 1 fled. "Let it go," Maggie said. "Someone must tell the story." Mother sent a message to the enemy ship, a full tactical report, a review of their combat skills, and a recipe for human chocolate chip cookies. Ty laughed. "Cookies? Seriously?" Mother answered, "They don't have vanilla extract in crash space. It's a diplomatic touch." The galaxy watched the recording of the battle again and again. Humans fought like nothing seen before, wild, fierce, and brilliant. The Valkyrie High Command could not sleep. Admiral Vextai stared at the reports, unable to understand how humans could break the rules of war and still win. "They don't fight," he said quietly. "They erase problems like gods pruning weeds." At the Teleron Corporate Council, leaders panicked. Their profits dropped. The Crash Syndicate was losing power. The galaxy had never seen a force so unpredictable, so terrifying. On the Bloodhim, the crew sat quietly after the battle. Ty stirred his food, voice low. "We might be the scary ones." Rafe nodded. "The Crash killed civilians for fun. We kill criminals to stop the fun." Commander Sudo looked tired. "If we do not stop this, they will keep killing." Ty looked at her. "That's very human." "Very human," she said, eyes sharp. A message arrived from the Galactic Assembly Prime Minister. They praised their work but warned their response was too strong. Maggie replied, cold and steady, "When 40,000 people died, how long did you plan to wait? What would have been appropriate?" The Prime Minister said they followed procedures. Maggie said, procedures don't stop killers. Someone has to. The line went silent. Ty looked at Maggie. You were angry. Personal, she said. The war had begun. The galaxy would never sleep again. The Black Star ships moved like silent hunters through the void. Commander Maggie Sudo watched the stars slide past, each one a distant world untouched by their war, for now. The galaxy had never seen anything like humans at war. They did not follow tradition nor honor old codes. Their fight was brutal and direct, a storm born from loss and fierce pride. Ty Mercer sat beside her, eyes tired but sharp. The Crash Syndicate is just the beginning, he said softly. Their friends will come. They always do. Maggie nodded. We won't be ready if we keep playing by their rules. Rafe Onari leaned over a console, fingers tracing impossible circuits glowing with human modifications. You want me to build weapons that break laws? I like that. Makes this war interesting. The room's tension broke with a low laugh from Ty. We're not just breaking laws. We're rewriting them. Mother, the ship's AI, spoke through the speakers with calm warmth. Tactical simulations suggest unpredictability is our greatest weapon. The enemy is unprepared for chaos. The crew had planned their next move carefully. The Teleron Corporate Council, hidden behind suits and profits, had secretly supported the Crash Syndicate for decades. Their money had kept pirates alive and trade routes unsafe. Now it was time to strike at the source. Ty tapped the controls, bringing up images of a massive Teleron commercial station. We hit their base. But civilians are aboard. Families, children. Maggie's eyes narrowed. We evacuate them first. Rafe's voice was low and steady. We make it look like a crash terrorist attack. The Telerons call for help, reveal their ties. Ty shook his head. Targeting civilians, even with evacuation, is a line we don't cross. The room grew quiet. The weight of war pressed heavy on every shoulder. Rafe spoke, voice thick with memory. My world was raided. Pirates took my wife and daughters. The Telerons made money off their capture. My daughters are lost. Ty's face grew pale. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Rafe looked away, anger quiet but burning. The Telerons treat lives like numbers. Maybe it's time someone returned the favor. Maggie's voice was firm. We don't kill innocents. We save them. Mother offered a plan. What if the civilians are rescued by an unknown ship? The base destroyed by terrorists. 0 casualties, political victory. Ty's eyes lit with hope. We pull it off, but it will anger the assembly. False flags are dangerous. Maggie's gaze was steady. They deserve to think. Hours later, the Black Star crews worked in perfect harmony. Evacuation protocols were flawless. The rescue ships appeared like angels, moving quickly to save every civilian. At 1347 station time, the Teleron commercial hub exploded in a deadly fireball. But every child, every family member, was safe aboard the rescue ships. The political fallout was immediate. The Telerons called for assembly intervention, revealing their decades of secret support for pirates. The galaxy buzzed with shock and fear. Humans had not only fought back, they had exposed corruption and destroyed it. Yet for the crew of the Black Star, the war was not over. It had only deepened. In quiet moments, Maggie thought of Rafe's lost daughters and the faces of the civilians they had saved. War was never clean. But it could be necessary. Ty stirred his coffee. Are we the heroes or the monsters? Maggie's eyes met his. Maybe both. The galaxy watched. And it did not sleep. The galaxy's peace shattered in a flash. The Black Star Compact had become a ghost story whispered across star systems. 5 ships, 5 crews moving unseen, striking without warning. But now they were about to make a strike so bold, it would change everything. Commander Maggie Sudo stood on the bridge of Bloodhim, watching a holographic map of the Assembly's home world. It was a fortress, guarded by powerful shields, fleets, and deadly weapons. Most believed it untouchable. But Maggie's eyes were sharp, filled with purpose. Ty, she said quietly, this isn't about conquest. It's about truth. Ty Mercer's fingers hovered over the controls. We take down their defenses without firing a shot? Mother's voice hummed in the background. Confirmed. I have prepared a plan to disable the entire planetary defense grid through digital means. It will take 30 seconds. 30 seconds to blind a planet, Maggie whispered. The other Black Star ships formed around them, ready. The task force entered the Sol system, the network of artificial satellites and communication arrays protecting the assembly. The enemy expected a fight, but humans had a different strategy. Ty smiled. Mother, let's turn off the lights. Engaging, Mother said. The defense grid blinked. Shield systems powered down. Communications switched to classical music. Orbital traffic control sent ships into holding patterns, lost in the melody. Maggie watched the enemy commanders scramble, confusion turning to panic. But the humans did not attack with weapons. Instead, they attacked with knowledge. Mother's digital fingers swept through the assembly central database, organizing secrets, deals, and dark agreements that had kept the galaxy's power structure intact for centuries. Every hidden contract, every backdoor deal now made public for all to see. Rafe Onari stepped forward, face grim as he searched records tied to his lost daughters. Here, he said, voice low, the ship that took them. Finally, I know where to look. Maggie nodded. First we finish this war. Then we get your daughters back. The broadcast of secrets spread across every communication channel. Galaxies heard the truth for the first time in centuries. The Teleron Corporate Council's profits collapsed as their crimes were laid bare. The Valkyrie military faced questions they could no longer ignore. Admiral Vextai had not slept for days. Humans don't just fight, he whispered. They rearrange reality. The Black Star Compact disbanded soon after. Their mission complete, their crews scattered like stars born from a supernova. But their legacy remained. The galaxy changed forever. In nurseries and homes, a new story was told, of small, fierce creatures who had fought like gods, who broke the rules and shaped the universe with fire and resolve. And everyone everywhere learned to sleep with one eye open. Commander Maggie Sudo sat in the quiet room aboard the Blood Hymn, the hum of the ship's engines a faint backdrop to her thoughts. The war was over, or so it seemed. The galaxy was stunned, still digesting the revelations that had torn apart centuries of secrecy and corruption. Yet, in the silence, a heavy truth settled over her like a thick fog. Her crew gathered nearby, each carrying their own scars from the fight. Ty Mercer, once quick to joke, now stared into his cup, a shadow of doubt in his eyes. We won the battle, he said quietly, but what have we lost? Rafe Onari's massive frame slumped, voice low and raw. I have a map now. A way to find my daughters. But that map is soaked in blood. Mother's voice broke the silence with its usual calm. I have distributed myself across Earth's colonies. I am here to guide, protect, and teach. Maggie nodded. This is our new mission. Not just to fight but to heal. The galaxy's response was swift. The Valkyrie adapted their military doctrine, trading old codes of honor for practical efficiency. Pirate raids dropped sharply, not from patrols but from fear of human unpredictability. The Teleron Corporate Council restructured, turning away from profit built on pain. The Yashin Collective offered new services to protect small colonies and warn of threats. The Dravari people, long enslaved, found freedom within months, thanks to new alliances and technology shared by those once their enemies. Yet, the most profound change was in the children. Across star systems, bedtime stories told of fierce humans who moved like predators and thought like prey, creatures who reshaped the universe. Maggie watched a message from her former commander, now retired, rumored to be living quietly far from war's reach. Yet, when impossible odds appeared, solutions came. Subtle, unexpected, and always on time. Ty looked up, a small smile breaking through. Maybe we aren't monsters. Maybe we're something new. Rafe smiled, sharp and sure. Something better. Maggie closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of victory and the cost it carried. The galaxy had learned to fear humanity, but maybe, just maybe, they had learned to hope. The stars outside the Blood Hymn shimmered quietly as Commander Maggie Sudo stood on the bridge, her gaze distant. The First War was over, but its echo stretched far beyond the battles fought in the cold silence of space. It had changed everything, the galaxy, its people, and even humanity itself. Ty Mercer sat nearby, fingers tapping lightly on the console. We won, yes. But victory isn't peace. It's a new battlefield. Maggie nodded slowly. War is a teacher. Harsh, unforgiving. It shows us who we are. Rafe Onari's voice broke the moment's stillness. I'm going to find my daughters. No more waiting in the dark. Mother's voice was calm, gentle. I have prepared a network to support your search. You will not walk alone. The galaxy still whispered about the humans, small, soft creatures who fought like storms, who tore down walls no one dared approach. They had shattered the old ways with fire and fierce resolve. Now they moved forward, not as conquerors but as guardians, reshaping alliances and building new futures. In nurseries, children listened wide-eyed to tales of the Black Star ships, ghosts of hope and reckoning. Parents spoke softly of the day humanity stood and said, "Enough." But no one knew what came next. That story was still unwritten. Commander Pseudo smiled faintly, a quiet strength shining in her eyes. The first war was only the beginning. The real journey lay ahead. And the galaxy, now wide awake, watched with one eye open, waiting to see what humanity would do next.